On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling at Savatthi, in the eastern part, in the mansion of Megara's mother. Megara's mother is a nickname for Visakha, together with a great Sangha of monks. On that occasion, the Uposatha day of the 15th, a full moon night, the Blessed One was sitting out in the open, surrounded by the Sangha of monks. Let's stop here for a moment. It so happens that today is also a full moon night, so we are also seated here. Then a certain monk rose from his seat, arranged his upper robe over one shoulder, raised his joint hands in reverential salutation towards the Blessed One, and said to him, "Venerable Sir, I would ask the Blessed One about a certain point, if the Blessed One would grant me the favor of answering my question." And the Buddha said, "Well then, monk, sit down in your own seat and ask whatever you wish." "Yes, Venerable Sir," the monk replied. Then he sat down in his own seat and said to the Blessed One, "Aren't these the 5 aggregates subject to clinging, or the 5 aggregates of attachment?" "Venerable Sir, that is the body aggregate of clinging, of attachment, the feeling aggregate of attachment, the perception aggregate of attachment, the volition aggregate of attachment, the consciousness aggregate of attachment." And the Buddha said, "Those are the 5 aggregates of attachment, monk. That is the form aggregate of attachment, the feeling aggregate of attachment, the perception aggregate of attachment, the volition aggregate of attachment, the consciousness aggregate of attachment." Saying, "Good, Venerable Sir," that monk delighted and rejoiced in the Blessed One's statement. Then he asked the Blessed One a further question. "But, Venerable Sir, in what are these 5 aggregates of attachment rooted?" "These 5 aggregates of attachment, monk, are rooted in desire." "Venerable Sir, is that attachment the same as these 5 aggregates of attachment, or is the attachment something apart from the 5 aggregates of attachment?" And Buddha said, Monks, that attachment is neither the same as these 5 aggregates of attachment, nor is the attachment something apart from the 5 aggregates of attachment, but rather the desire and lust for them, that is the attachment there. Stop here for a moment. Here the Buddha is saying that the 5 aggregates, the attachment is not the 5 aggregates, but it is also not apart from the 5 aggregates. It is the desire and lust for them, that is the attachment. Saying, "Good, Venerable Sir," that monk asked the Blessed One a further question. "But, Venerable Sir, can there be a diversity in the desire and lust for the 5 aggregates of attachment?" "There can be, monk," the Blessed One said. "Here, monk, it occurs to someone, may I have such body in the future, may I have such feeling in the future, may I have such perception in the future, may I have such volition in the future, may I have such consciousness in the future." Thus, monk, there can be diversity in the desire and lust for the 5 aggregates of attachment. Stop here for a moment. So here, the diversity in the desire and lust may be like somebody thinks, "Oh, in the future, may I be reborn and have the Deva body or Devi body, or in the future, in my future life, may I have pleasant feelings all the time, no suffering," etc. Saying, "Good, Venerable Sir," that monk asked the Blessed One a further question. "In what way, Venerable Sir, does the designation aggregates apply to the aggregates?" And Buddha said, "Whatever kind of body there is, monk, whether past, future or present, internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near, this is called the body or form aggregate. Whatever kind of feeling there is, whether past, future or present, internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near, this is called the feeling aggregate. Whatever kind of perception there is, whether past, future or present, internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near. This is called the perception aggregate. Whatever kind of volition there are, whether past, future or present, internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near, this is called the volition aggregate. Whatever kind of consciousness there is, whether past, future or present, internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near, this is called the consciousness aggregate. It is in this way, monk, that the designation aggregates applies to the aggregates. Saying, good Venerable Sir, that monk asked the Blessed One a further question. What is the cause and condition, Venerable Sir, for the manifestation of the body aggregate? What is the cause and condition for the manifestation of the feeling aggregate, for the manifestation of the perception aggregate, volition, consciousness aggregate? And the Buddha said, the four great elements, monks, are the cause and condition for the manifestation of the body aggregate. Contact is the cause and condition for the manifestation of the feeling aggregate. Contact is the cause and condition for the manifestation of the perception aggregate. Contact is the cause and condition for the manifestation of the volition aggregate. Nama rupa, or mentality and materiality, is the cause and condition for the manifestation of the consciousness aggregate. I stop here for a moment. This one, I think earlier we read in some other sutta, saying that where these aggregates come from, the origin, and we read that the body comes from the four great elements, and feeling, perception, and volition comes from contact at the six sense doors. At any of the six sense doors, if external sense object comes in contact with the sense base, then feeling arises, followed by perception and thinking and volition. And then consciousness always comes together with namarupa, mentality and materiality. They are Siamese twins. They exist together and die together, inseparable. And then this monk asked again, Venerable Sir, how does identity view come to be? And the Buddha said, here monk, the unlearned ordinary person who does not see noble ones and is unskilled and undisciplined in their Dhamma, who does not see superior persons and is unskilled and undisciplined or untrained in their Dhamma, regards body as self, or self as possessing body, or body as in self, or self as in body. Similarly for feeling, perception, volition and consciousness. That is how identity view comes to be. Stop here for a moment. This identity view is Sakkaya Ditthi, and Sakkaya Ditthi is as stated here. That means we identify ourselves with the body and mind, which is also, the body and mind is also the five aggregates. So we regard the aggregates as the self, or as belonging to the self, or as being in the self, or the self as being in the aggregates. So because we identify the body and the mind with the self, so we have this identity view. But, Venerable Sir, how does identity view come not to be? Here, monk, the learned noble disciple who sees noble ones and is skilled and trained in their Dhamma, who sees superior persons and is skilled and trained in their Dhamma, does not regard body as self, or self as possessing body, or body as in the self, or self as in the body. Similarly for feeling, perception, volition and consciousness. That is how identity view does not come to be. Stop here for a moment. So here, when a person, a noble disciple, he understands the Dhamma, then he dissociates himself from the five aggregates. He can see that the five aggregates, the body and mind, are impermanent, subject to change, subject to conditions. So because of that, it cannot be the self. does not even belong to the self. So that's how identity view ceases. What Venerable Sir is the gratification, the danger and the escape in the case of body? What is the gratification, the danger and escape in the case of feeling, perception, volition and consciousness? And the Buddha replied, the pleasure and joy, monk, that arise in dependence on body, that is the gratification in body. Stop here for a moment. This one we related earlier, how when you see a beautiful girl in the prime of her beauty, when she's 16 years old, that is the gratification in body. And then that body is impermanent, suffering and subject to change. This is the danger in body. Stop here for a moment. That day we also said, because of impermanence, the same body, the same beautiful 16-year-old girl, after some time when she gets cancer, you see her lying on the bed, terminal cancer, and she's passing out urine and excrement on her bed, and her whole body become weak and yellowish and pale, and she's near death already. Then you can see the beauty is all gone. That is the danger in form. Or the same beautiful girl, when she's 80 or 90 years old, then she looks an ugly old woman. That is the danger in the body. The removal and abandonment of desire and lust for body. This is the escape from body. The pleasure and joy, similarly, the pleasure and joy that arise in dependence on feeling, perception, volition and consciousness, that is the gratification. And then the fact that these aggregates are impermanent, suffering and subject to change, that is the danger in them. And the removal and abandonment of desire and lust for the aggregates, that is the escape from the aggregates. Saying, good Venerable Sir, that monk delighted and rejoiced in the Blessed One's statement. Then he asked the Blessed One a further question. Venerable Sir, how should one know, how should one see, so that in regard to this body, with consciousness and in regard to all external signs, I-making, mind-making, and the underlying tendency to conceit no longer occurs within? Stop here for a moment. So here he's asking, how can we eliminate this tendency to think I am, I exist, this perception, this conceit in us, that ego making, how to get rid of it? And the Buddha said, any kind of body whatsoever, monk, whether past, future or present, internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near, one sees all bodies as they really are with correct wisdom thus. This is not mine, this I am not, this is not myself. Stop here for a moment. So here we understand that because of impermanence, all bodies, whether you consider as your body or your daughter or your son, etc., because of impermanence, they will all leave us. They will all be separated from us. So if we attach to them, they give us suffering. So if we let go, then we can see this is not mine, this I am not, this is not myself. Similarly for feeling, perception, volition and consciousness. When one knows and sees thus, monk, then in regard to this body with consciousness and in regard to all external signs, I-making, mind-making, and the underlying tendency to conceit no longer occurs within. Now on that occasion, the following reflection arose in the mind of a certain monk. So it seems that body is non-self, feeling is non-self, perception is non-self, or not self, volition is not self, consciousness is not self. What self then will deeds done by what is not self affect? Then the Blessed One, knowing with his own mind the reflection in the mind of that monk, addressed the monks thus. It is possible, monks, that some senseless man here, obtuse and ignorant, with his mind dominated by craving, might think that he can outstrip the teacher's teaching thus. So it seems that form, feeling, perception, volition, and consciousness is not self. What self then will deeds done by what is not self affect? Now monks, you have been trained by me through interrogation here and there in regard to diverse teachings. What do you think, monk? Is body permanent or impermanent? Impermanent, noble sir. Is what is impermanent suffering or happiness? And they say, suffering, noble sir. Is what is impermanent, suffering and subject to change, fit to be regarded thus, this is mine, this I am, this is myself? No, noble sir. Similarly, is feeling permanent or impermanent, perception, volition, consciousness, permanent or impermanent? And they say, impermanent, noble sir. Is what is impermanent, suffering or happiness? Suffering, noble sir. Is what is impermanent, suffering and subject to change, fit to be regarded thus, this is mine, this I am, this is myself? No, noble sir. Therefore, seeing thus the noble disciple, he becomes disenchanted and he becomes dispassionate, then he becomes liberated. These are the 10 questions the monk came to ask, 2 about the aggregates, whether the same, can there be designation and the cause, 2 about identity, 1 each on gratification and this body with consciousness. So the Buddha, towards the end, is driving home the point that all the aggregates, which basically are body and mind, are impermanent and a source of suffering, subject to change, not fit to regard them as I or mine. So he's answering that monk who had that thought indirectly. Because this monk, after hearing all that talk about not self, he still cannot let go of that self. So you see, the Buddha, sometimes he has disciples like this who, like the first one who asks intelligent questions, and then the Buddha will answer him, not only for him, it's for all the other monks also in the assembly. So you see from here, generally the teaching is the same. It's only whether hearing the teaching we can let go or not. If our mind is not clear enough, and our attachment is still strong, then we cannot let go. It's only when our mind is clear and that we can let go.